Hey, welcome back to the Mobility Hotness. Got a great email from one of our athletes who was talking about having some shoulder pain. And he's like, you know what, I just kind of forgot that it's possible that you can sometimes just resolve common pain dysfunction as basic sliding surface ailments, kind of the decreased capacities of sliding one surface to another surface, muscles over bone, how kind of things interrelate. Sometimes getting in there and restoring that motion is enough to buy slack, free up neural dynamics, improve circulation, start a healing process. It doesn't matter. The idea is that imagine having a really tight joint and then just unload it. And these things happen because we consistently just kind of trash ourselves. So let's start with the next couple of days. We'll kind of explore just some good old myofascial stuff and look at the kind of the interface and the effect of just getting yourself unglued and what that does to the kind of quality of your tissues and how you feel. So today we'll start with the lower body. What we're going to do is take our good old trusty ball. We're going to go 3 different places in kind of what we call this proximal hip, or the high hip, or the high femur. And what we're going to do first is we're going to take the flexor WOD, which is the insertion kind of rectus femoris here, the tensor fasciae lata, sartorius wraps around at that, ready for it, anterior inferior iliac spine. You don't need to know that. If you just grab the big chunky meat of flesh here, you're going to see that there's a mass that gets bound down. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the ball and we're going to roll around and try to unglue that. When people have IT band problems, oftentimes we go right after the spot, but one of the things we can do is buy slack from this kind of high hip and then kind of influence the interface down below. So number 1, and I'll show you what that looks like. Number 2 is that this glute gets really short and ugly on this side. And what we're really going to do is going to go kind of off this flexor WOD, and we're going to put the ball deep into this kind of hip here. And what you'll find is that high glute, you catch some of that glute medius, some of the tissues right on the top, the men here, and it gets ropey, and you can actually palpate that, and it's kind of nasty. And it really influences a lot of how your leg is able to internally rotate. The stiffer you are here, the less likely you are to able to internally rotate. In fact, you can test if you squeeze your butt really hard, it creates an extra rotation force on your femur. If you can unloosen that, we can get some more internal rotation, improve that extension in those positions. Last piece, you have a choice of either kind of rolling around on your butt, or let's get ahead and go with 50 leg pumps. So I want you to try to get that ball or tissue, or ball or hammer, or whatever you're going to use, right as that hamstring comes into that ischial tuberosity, right into that sit bone. Find your sit bones. Let's place that ball there. We're going to go two ways. The first thing is I'm just going to go forward and back, practicing the motor control of being neutral and just ungluing myself. And I have to kind of work all the way from inside all the way outside. And you'll find, you're like, oh, is that adductors? Is that pectineus? I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel like hamstring. It's definitely medial butt. And I'm almost kind of sitting in the groinal region, in the grundle, and then I'm going to just move it over. And then once I've kind of tacked it there, then I'm going to go ahead and just straighten the leg and just add a little bit. So folding forward, there's my loader, and there's my tensioner. Load forward, load and tension. So first thing we'll do is go ahead and roll on that flexor WOD on the ground, get that ball in there, and then just try to collect a minute in that WOD. Back and forth. You can contract, relax over, it doesn't matter. Then move around to that hip, that lateral hip. Ah, it's so bad. So sorry about that. You may just decide it's not worth it. Finally, let's get 50 or 60 pumps, either first sitting forward and pulling, second load and pull, all right? So the idea is we're just going to open this up. Test your deadlift. See how that setup feels. Even just messing around for a second, I notice that I can get this leg further back. The idea is constant little inputs, see the relationships, start to develop a kind of a concept and understanding of what's tight and how it influences your movements, all right? We'll see you guys tomorrow.